feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Thursday, August 5th, 2024. This is Keep It in the Ring. I'm Rich Mancuso. As always, thank you for joining me and being part of the program. Live on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. Please like the show. Subscribe is free, and comment at your will, even on the next hour, which is going to be heavy with boxing, MMA, and the pro wrestling as always. Also, String Punk Entertainment. Also, like, comment, subscribe there, and the AGT Network, the same as we keep it in the ring here each and every week. I'm Rich Mancuso. And of course, at the bottom of the screen, as always, the upcoming fight calendar, and it'll get even more busier as I keep telling you the weeks ahead. The fall calendar coming more into fruition. Reach me out on social media, folks. Love to hear from you. Comment, X, formerly Twitter, Ring786. Get me, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, as well as reading my content, not only boxing, but a little of everything else, including baseball, at LatinoSports.com, NewYorkSportsState.com, and some other outlets. And I appreciate all of you as always. And we do have that type of hour coming up. The 168-pound division with Canelo Alvarez. He's got a possible next challenger or one down the line in Diego Pacheco. Going to talk about that. Look at this fight this past weekend. The champion out of Japan, possibly one of the top pound for pound in that discussion. Inoue, he successfully defended his title over the weekend. And we are closer to Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga next weekend in Las Vegas. Talk a little bit about that. The boxing news is heavy because there's a lot going on in Saudi Arabia and the talk there about how they continue to expand the sport to make the fights for you, the public, the boxing fan that wants to see the fights, and they're putting it together. Well, the fact of the week as well, I'll have a special guest on the wrestling side at the bottom of the hour, and nostalgia as always, and one we'll get to that. Carl Edwards, man in controls for me behind the scenes tonight. You'll hear from him a little later. I'll bring him in for some of the wrestling talk. But let's begin to keep it in the ring this week and talk about Diego Pacheco. At the War Grounds at the Disney Health Complex in Los Angeles on the zone this past weekend, you saw the WBO #1 super middleweight, Diego Pacheco. This young man with the future. He's built himself up now. He is undefeated. Remained that over the weekend, 22-0, 18 knockouts, as he KO'd Suzuki in the 6th round. He boxed him. He kept Suzuki at distance. He jabbed. He hurt Selecki in formidable fashion. He was the challenger and a good one for the young Diego Pacheco. Late in the 5th round, the left hooks to the body. My friends, he has it. If you watch Diego Pacheco over his previous 21 fights, you know what I'm talking about. Got a nice jab, gives some nice distance, great footwork, handles himself well in the ring as well as out of the ring. And a man that's on his way in a super middleweight division at 168, where the titles, as you know, held by Canelo Alvarez, except the IBF portion of that. We go to the punch stats. You'll see how Pacheco manned this fight from the beginning. 49% of his punches, though 5 only of the 42 landed to the body. But the last body punch puts Suzuki down. And as a result, Diego Pacheco moves on. In the division 168 again, dominated by Canelo Alvarez. Many again say he's pound for pound the best. Of course, face boxing, you can argue that point again. Canelo, Bud, Terrence Crawford, whatever. But Diego Pacheco now has become a player in the division. This is the fight that he wanted to show the world that he belongs in there as a top-rated superstar at 168. And he did it. He did it well. And he got the shot. And now he's in talk for a title shot down the line, not right away. Maybe next year at some point, if everything still holds in that division, Now, he'll get Canelo Alvarez, but I think Diego Pacheco needs one more, possibly two, before he can get him. Of course, Canelo Alvarez is the dominant face of the sport. Maybe not dominant, but face of the sport. But dominant as he is, he continues to be in the division and got this fight with Berlanga coming up next weekend, T-Mobile Arena on Amazon Prime pay-per-view. And that fight, which we'll discuss more in detail next week, that could determine a lot where Diego Pacheco goes. But however, here are some of the opponents that might be in line for Diego Pacheco next. I don't know if he's going to fight again this year, but there is Jaime Mugema from the extreme left, lost to Canelo Alvarez, and look, he wasn't ready for him, lost, but still a part of 168 and the title mix. And then you have September 20th, of course, he's fighting the undefeated Barzanian in Glendale, Arizona on the zone. And so we'll know more about Munguia and his comeback fight after the loss to Canelo after September 20th. He's a possible opponent, and that could be a good matchup for Diego Pacheco. On the zone, of course, will be Munguia and Barzanian. And then you have Steve Nelson. He's top rated. He's the guy in the middle. Or Shishkin or Egg Berlinger, who has a fight coming up, of course, with Canelo next weekend at T-Mobile Arena. Those are some of the possible next opponents in line for Diego Pacheco. Now, my friend, I'm talking about someone who's young. I'm talking about a young fighter who has it all. Right now, he feels he is ready for Canelo Alvarez. I disagree. I don't. Though Diego Pacheco is a great puncher and can jab and has great footwork, he does also throw punches to the body, though in this last fight over the weekend, it didn't look as dominating to the body as it once was. The young man, though, has that potential to go a long way in this sport. And if he doesn't get Canelo Alvarez next year, depending on where the state of that division is at 168, he will have a championship fight. And with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom in his corner and the zone, Diego Pacheco will get that title opportunity. Said after the fight, he wants the best and he wants to go on at 168 and get Canelo Alvarez eventually. When is to be determined. But we do know this. After this fight Saturday night, Diego Pacheco is in the title mix at 168, possibly the top contender to Canelo's title after Edgar Berlanga the results of next weekend. To be determined. But again, the sport of boxing has developed a young, exciting superstar. He may not be exciting as some of the others yet, but he will be. He starts off a little slow, and then he progresses as he goes along, and he does the finishing job, and that's what it's all about. There's a lot of hope for Diego Pacheco. I hope to have had him on this program again this week. To no avail. I don't blame him. He needs some well-needed rest. He's getting it now with his family and his son, young son, and we'll have him on. He's very receptive to doing post-fight interviews and interviews weeks after his latest win, and I will keep after him so you can hear his story, and it's a good one, but it'll even get better when he gets the title opportunities at 168, and if that be Canelo Alvarez or someone else, he is a champion destined to come. On that same card, the co-feature super featherweight Eduardo Nunez, 28-1, 28 knockouts. The Mexican stopped Miguel Malaga, and it was an entertaining fight. He used his jab effectively, but the corner stopped at the end of round 6. He was knocked down in the 4th round by Nunez, which was very, very powerful. And Nunez has also been known, not so much here, a Mexican standout, but now he is known. A fight that he had on his own. A fight that the corner stopped after a knockdown in the 4th at the end of round 6. So he's arrived. Eduardo Nunez, super featherweight. He'll be there. Another one destined to become a champion. I think it will happen. Now, let's look at this. Hey, where were you at 2 a.m. early this week? I think Tuesday night into Wednesday morning Eastern time. I know where I was. I was asleep. as much as I wanted to see it, but that's the problem with possibly one of the most dominating fighters in the sport today. Undisputed 122 champ, Naoya from Japan. 9 consecutive knockouts now is his streak. Except we can't get to appreciate him. He's co-promoted by Top Rank. When you're fighting at 2 a.m. Eastern time and other time zones, and you're fighting in Japan, you can't appreciate the talent this guy got. And that was the case again this week. However, we went on to win. TJ Doney, all right, 16 seconds around 7. And he basically complained he could not continue with a bad leg. Now, the punch stats tell the story here. He landed more power punches in 2 of the 7 rounds. And only 61 punches in the 6th. 61 punches in the 6th round. And that's when Doheny said he was hurt. His leg. They waved the fight off. Regardless, this is a young fighter out of Japan that needs to fight in the United States. And we're going to get to see that soon, according to Bob Arum. Another fight in Japan. And then Bob Arum has said after that, he's going to showcase him in Las Vegas. No, he says Christmas Day will be his next fight in Japan. Again, we'll probably on a Christmas Day holiday at 2, 3 in the morning. My problem with this is a young fighter, possibly top 3 pound for pound, and we can't get to appreciate him because we can't see him if you're not up at 2, 3 in the morning because he fights exclusively in Japan. Mentioned it before. But good old Hall of Famer, Top Rank Bob Arum has intervened. Now says it's time. One more in Japan, showcase him in Las Vegas early next year. And that's the right route to go. I mean, this guy is an exciting fighter. He has it all. And if you have never seen him, you'll check him out on YouTube or all the other places you could find it. If you saw the fight, what did you think? What do you think of Inoue? What do you think of this young superstar from Japan? Let me know. I've seen it, but I didn't watch it at 2 or 3 a.m. I was fast asleep. I did catch a replay of it the next day. And again, he's impressive. And I love everything about him, the way he jabs, the way he goes to the body. And again, the most important part of boxing to me for a fighter is the excellent footwork, and he has it. So we'll see where that goes. And hopefully he fights in the United States more often. He is a hero in Japan, but we got to know him here to appreciate his skills and talents. And that's where Bob Arum comes in. Best promoter of it all is Bob Arum to tell him, you got to fight in the United States. We're going to do it in Las Vegas next year, early next year. And when he does, I hope to be there to see it up person and live because he is destined to be a superstar for a long time. Time will tell, though. Moving on, and where would a program be here every week without talking about, you know who? It's Ryan Garcia time. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney this past April, Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. You know the chronicle of this. Garcia is suspended, waiting to come back. Devin Haney this week said he's put that fight in the background. Doesn't want nothing to do with him again. Because he says Ryan Garcia taking steroids, illegal substances, put his life in jeopardy. In which Ryan Garcia has responded on his latest tweets, on X, on Instagram. I won the fight. He complained and sued me. Chapter is over. Yeah, it is over. But the chapter for Ryan Garcia never ends. And because of that, because he's a social media phenom, as I always say, he's still out there. He's looking to get back in the ring as soon as possible. The suspension is a whole year. I don't know how many months or days we're into it. However, he could take a fight in Saudi Arabia, as the kings and princes say they'd love to have him. But Garcia is now still not in rehab. Guess he feels he doesn't need it. He's back in the lab, he says. He's working out. He's hitting the pads. He's punching the bags. There he is, as he said, back in the lab. And he looks good. Take a look at the physique. Take a look. He's working out. And he's making the known to the world, I'm back in the lab. I am ready. His promoter, Rockstar De La Hoya, loves it. His fans love it. And he's got millions of them. And Ryan Garcia is obsessed with himself. Obsessed more, though, about letting people know on social media what he does. And now, at least he's centering more, if this is not a publicity stunt that he loves to do, he's centering more about his fight career, which should be get it back to order in business. By doing that, he's not traveling around the world, not in Mexico, he's not up in Canada, he's not here, he's not there. He's back in the lab, back in the gym, place that he loves, where his mentality is so much better. He loves boxing, he loves the game. Devin Haney's done with him. Ryan Garcia says, that's fine. I'm done too. The chapter is over. To be determined. I don't think they'll ever fight again, but this is boxing. You never know. But the 140-pound division, of course, junior welterweight, is still the buzz of the sport. And Teofimo Lopez has postponed his latest fight. No more this year. He's done. Next year, he'll get back in the ring and defend the part of the 140-pound titles of the Alphabet Soup organizations. And he's sparring with this guy. Social media, Teofimo Lopez put it up. Teofimo sparring with Canelo Alvarez. Carl, do you have that image? It's a nice photo of Teofimo Lopez in the gym sparring with Canelo Alvarez. I was hoping we had that. But it's out there on social media. If you don't see it now, you could see it on social media. Carl, if you have that, maybe you could put it up as I keep talking about this division that has Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis in the discussion. So that could be 135 and not 140. We seen Matchroom Eddie Hearn has said that he plans 2 fights in Saudi Arabia for his newest product, a multi-fight deal for Shakur Stevenson, and then Shakur then can maybe get in the ring with Gervonta Davis, maybe one before. But in the meantime, Teofimo Lopez has put his fight career on hiatus for the rest of the year, which is a good thing. He fights twice a year, but now he's sparring with Canelo Alvarez and getting ready for his fight with Berlanger in Vegas next week. Teofimo also lives in Las Vegas. I'd hope to have that image up to see it so we could talk more about the division at 140. But in the meantime, before Carl can load that up, we're speaking about Saudi Arabia. We're speaking about the excellency Turkey, as they call them, that are players in boxing, commanding the sport, making the fights, working with the promoters. They have the money to do it. As I always call them, the kings and princes of Saudi Arabia were now taking over. Obviously, the Turkey said this week he wants the upcoming, Tyson Fury, Usyk, fighting for the title, the rematch, the heavyweight title at the end of December in Saudi Arabia. But he wants Fury and Anthony Joshua to fight in Saudi Arabia. And if AJ defeats Daniel Dubois on the 21st of this month, even if Fury loses to Usyk in the rematch at the end of December, the Turkey Excellency says he wants, either way, to put that fight together. He wants Fury and Joshua. No matter what happens to Tyson Fury against Usyk at the end of December. How huge that would be for the heavyweight division again, as Anthony Joshua has a fight coming up in a few weeks, looking to regain a portion of the heavyweight titles, and might get the winner of Tyson Fury and Usyk, and in Saudi Arabia, where boxing reigns. How big is this excellency, the kings and princes, as I call them again, in Saudi Arabia? that are commanding boxing right now. He reportedly said a few days ago that boxing pay-per-view prices are much too high. He has said too many people are stealing pay-per-view with illegal streaming. You might be one of them. I don't know. Regardless, here is the solution. The Excellency says, lower the prices of boxing pay-per-view, and I'm all for that. There's one, too many of them, with all the streaming networks also. Two, it's affordable, as he says. Let's do all boxing pay-per-view events with all the promoters and all the pro shows for $20 in the UK and $20 worldwide. In that case, maybe you would see this for $20. Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua, heavyweight division, mean a lot. That's been talked about for a long, long time, 2 years or more. And now it could happen. And we could watch it on pay-per-view for $20. I'm all for that. What do you think? Like, comment, and subscribe, my friends. My channel on YouTube, Rich Mancuso, ADT Network, and String Punk Entertainment. Let me know your thoughts. Also on my social media. Do you like that idea? Boxing pay-per-view, $20 over 54 or 74, whatever they go, as high as 89. I love it. And for that, all kudos and applause to His Excellency Turkey out of Saudi Arabia. The kings and princes know what they're doing with the sport. They're giving the sport exposure. They're making the fights for the fans, and now lowering the pay-per-view prices. That's what they want to do. If the promoters all go with it, they may not, because it's less revenue, less purses for the fighters. But if they do it, it could only help the sport, the exposure. More fans might get to watch. I love it. $20 in the UK, $20 in the United States. How about that for every pay-per-view fight? Promoters, listen to it. Eddie Hearn's on board with it. I'm sure Oscar De La Hoya is. Bob Arum, I'm sure, will go for it. How about the others? Let's do it. Let's do it. $20. I love it. Moving on to Zoo and the IBF champ. He's looking at 154 to rebound, get his title back. He heads a PBC Prime show Saturday, October 19th. This is in pay-per-view in Orlando, Florida, against a champion Bakram. And that will be something for Tszyu to make his comeback in 154. Lost his title, of course, to Sebastian Findora, the human monster, the hurricane from Mexico. Sebastian Findora still talked about with Earl Spence Jr., and maybe even Terrence Crawford. That's been the latest talk, but nothing definite on that yet. And Gerard Boots Ennis, well, he's the IBF welterweight champion, but he may vacate that. Eddie Hearn says that from Matchroom. He's reaching out to Sergey Barakachuk or Israel Madronov to fight Gerard Boots Ennis. And at this time, though, Ennis might be vacating the IBF welterweight title that he won, that he deserved, that he really, really was very proud of. So I don't know why he would do that. But it's a cause of boxing. It's boxing. It's also money. It has everything to do with boxing politics, as I say. Either way, Gerard Boots Ennis will be back real soon. The Philadelphia product, homegrown, and has a future in the sport now and for whatever. Very talented. Sure as homecoming fight. First one, Philadelphia, with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom on the zone. And Gerard Boots Ennis, nothing good to say about this guy. This young man is going to be around a long time, whether it be welterweight or 154. Well, if Terrence Crawford decides to remain at 154, he's talked about now in his super, in his division now, 154. If he decides to stay there, then he's got to vacate his welterweight title status, and that's what he intends to do. And it's only right that he do that. And Terrence Crawford has said he will be doing that if he remains at super welterweight where he is now. So we'll see. And in that division, of course, you have competition. Terrence Crawford likes that. And he's never going back to welterweight since unifying those titles against Earl Spence Jr. So why not? Just forget about the welterweight division. Stay where you are. And Terrence Crawford considered maybe 1-2 to Canelo Alvarez, which I think will never happen because he'd have to move up and weight to 168. Terrence Crawford ain't going to do that. As much money is there on the table, and it's not going to happen in Saudi Arabia because Canelo Alvarez doesn't want to go there anyway, and Canelo's not going to move down. You know that. David Morrell told the WBA he's vacating his super title and he's going to remain champ at light heavyweight. Good move. See, when fighters make that decision, it's a wise one and it's a good one. They stay where they are. They like the weight they're at, and they continue to try and develop a legacy at one weight. So David Morrell has decided now, he told the WBA that he's vacating his super middleweight title, remain a champ at light heavyweight, which is, by the way, a very, very tough competitive division. Light heavyweight in the mix. Well, you got David Benavidez, who's seeking the winner October 12th to unify. They are going to do, finally, Dimitri Bivol and Arturo Bertaviv. And David Morrell feels he belongs there where he is now at light heavyweight as one of those champs. So we might get unity in that division, which makes more interesting fights and very perplexing ones as well, with hopefully good endings. We'll see how that goes. The ups and downs of boxing business, as I call it. And that goes on every day, my friends, as the fall calendar and boxing now approaches us. Now, ticket selling reportedly for the Canelo Berlanga fight in Vegas next week at a rapid pace. It's basically sell out. UFC, though, is not selling out. They are right down block. This fever in Las Vegas competing with Canelo and Berlanga. It's not working out. Dana White this is not working out for him right now. Very, very slow ticket sales, struggling for the UFC on the same night in Vegas. Rivaling Canelo and Berlanga so far in that great card that's underneath it, supported, has failed for the UFC and Dana White at this point. And again, you always have good walk-ups in UFC events and in boxing and pro wrestling events and all combat sports. But right now, the Canelo Alvarez Edgar Berlanga fight coming up next weekend, September 14th in Las Vegas, is outdrawing big time UFC and Dana White in Las Vegas. So, he might have lost that one, Dana White. We'll let you know. We'll see how it develops next weekend. All right, UFC making news, and let's talk. We didn't talk much about it last week or the last few weeks, but we look at Dustin Poirier and Colby Covington. They are signed for UFC 309 at Madison Square Garden November 9th in New York City. Going to be a good one. Let's take a look at the UFC upcoming fight calendar for the fall, if it stands and holds. You got Pereira and Roundtree, October 5th. We have a list, a graphic of the upcoming fights coming up on the UFC calendar for the fall. There we go. O'Malley on September 14th. Jones on November 16th. Now, the last one on the calendar, stated for December 7th, Conor McGregor and Chandler, has been talked about for the longest time. And it's been on and off and on and off. And it might be off again. We haven't been able to confirm that, but just a day ago, Conor McGregor said that he's going to be running for president of Ireland and he's not going to fight. So we don't know if McGregor and Edwards will get it going on December 7th as listed on the UFC fall fight calendar. Conor McGregor going into politics in Ireland, he says there needs to be a change and he's going to run for president of his country. Hey, not going to stop him from doing that. But the ever-growing story of Conor McGregor, similar to the ever-growing story of Ryan Garcia in the boxing world, continues. McGregor on and off, McGregor hurt. Now McGregor going into politics. What's next? Well, we'll see if that fight December 7th does transpire between him and Edwards, Chandler, because everyone wants to see that. UFC fans are dying to see that fight. They've been savoring for it for a long time, and we thought we'd have had it already maybe this year. But if Conor McGregor decides he's going to run for the presidency of Ireland, then he's not going to fight. I don't know what Dana White has said about this. He hasn't commented on it. We've reached out to try and get a comment and see what the latest is on that. To no avail, of course. We haven't been able to do it. All right, folks, we come to that point, the bottom of the hour. It's Keep It in the Ring. I'm Rich Mancuso. Live on my YouTube channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also at String Punk Entertainment and the AGT Network. And also on Facebook. We have a Keep It in the Ring page. Join us, okay? And don't forget, social media, X, formerly Twitter, Ring786, where you get me. Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, among the outlets. Get me there, comment, I'll get back to you. I try to get back each and one of every one of you as best as I can. But when we come back, we'll be pro wrestling talk, lots of it. Take a look. Bash in Berlin, WWE was a success, and more of the aftermath of that. AEW getting ready for the next pay-per-view so quick. All out, Chicago, Illinois, this Saturday night. pay-per-view.com and the other outlets. We'll give a little perspective now, bring all that in as well. And I got a treat for you because this guy is pro. We have a pro wrestler coming up that you enjoy talking to, and his name is Leatherface. He's a part of Pandemonium, the next ACW Pandemonium card, and that'll be taking place October 12th. I'll be ringside commentating or on the stage on pay-per-view. And we'll have that for you. We'll bring in the face. He's a part of this great card at the 5% in Williamstown, New Jersey. I'll get it damn right. I don't want to botch up towns either. So we'll get to Leatherface in a moment. Get back to you. Like, comment, and subscribe, my friends. We'll be back in a moment. Every time Rich Mancuso, keep it in ring. Stay with us.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
All right, Carl, Pandemonium time. Where is it? The money is coming up, my friends. Rich Mancuso is keeping the ring. We continue with the pro wrestling talk. It is Saturday, October 12th. That's a big boxing night as well. But ACW, Pandemonium, a lot of revenge matches. Former ECW stars, again, with the legend Jason Knight and Desiree. Jason Knight, the promoter, and Desiree of Assault Championship Wrestling, October 12th, 5% in Williamstown, New Jersey. I'll be there doing the commentary. And if we have them, we'll bring them on right now. Carl, bring in.
Oh, here we are.
One of the superstars on that card is right there.
No, it's not me. It's this guy over here. I could go get him for you.
I know. He doesn't look like that when he's in the ring. He's known as Leatherface. There he is. Welcome, Leatherface. You're a part of Pandemonium on October 12th. Are you getting ready for it?
Yeah, it's, I grew up. I was a native Jersey boy, and you and I talked before I even started on here that I used to be one of those annoying kids that used to call you up at 3 a.m. and participate in your old show.
You weren't annoying. I loved it. I wanted you guys. When I had the show on WFAN Wrestling Talk at 3 a.m. Eastern Time in New York City with Jody McDonald. You were one of them. I loved it. I didn't know it was you.
Yeah, of course, I was Jason from Jersey because I would try to squeeze in my full name, and it was just like, Jason from Jersey because I'm from a small town in New Jersey. And anywho, God, it's like a momentous thing because people would have to understand we worshipped Rich Mancuso, me and all the diehard wrestling fans, because you guys let us know all the area independent shows, and now we could, like, on weekends go find where Carmine DeSpirito was running and that kind of thing. But then, 20 years of age, I moved to Memphis. A few months later, I'm in Japan, and the rest, as they say, is history. But coming back to my home township in New Jersey, on my home stomping grounds, not my hometown, but yeah, something else. I just couldn't
Well,
believe that you were actually involved. There was a meet and greet before that that people
yeah.
would have to understand.
And
And
we
I saw
missed
you
each
walking
other at the
around.
first show in May. We missed each other.
I was waiting for my big
I
moment.
called your match, but we missed each other.
I was waiting for my big moment. I was waiting for my big moment to finally get up and be like, "Oh, Mr. Mancuso, sir, I worshipped you. I was a teenage kid. The
Cut the
fans."
bullshit. Nobody
No,
worships
I
Rich
swear to God,
Mancuso.
that's what really happened.
You know,
For anybody
they
out there
worship.
listening,
They
trust
worship
me,
me.
that's what
If they
happened.
worship me like that, Leatherface, I would be retired with a lot of money right now. I'm basically almost retired now anyway.
But
But
back then, it
anyway,
wasn't the monetary.
enough of me. Let's talk about you. First of all, fans got to know about you. Did you have a history in the sport? You even wrestled in Japan. And you're
Yeah.
Leatherface. Why are you called Leatherface?
Well, there was two prior to me, and the other two through circumstances. The first one was having all kinds of work visa issues because he got into some legal problems in Japan. And God rest his soul. 2 years ago, he passed away, Mike Kirshner. But then of his replacement was very successful outside of wrestling, and it was difficult to get him to come back to Japan. And my boss overseas, he had just started up a brand new company of his own in 2000, and I had been moping around the independent scene out there. And he came to me and he said, "Work on the upper body, a big monster." And he said,
Yeah, well, you're well built. How old are you now?
"Yeah, but I'm 50 now." And then I was, 26
Good shape for
when
a
I was
50-year-old. I don't have that shape.
uh,
So you've never taken a hiatus from the pro wrestling industry. Did you wrestled indies, and now you're a main part of ACW with Jason Knight. How do you keep
yeah,
yourself going at 50 years of age in this sport? I think a lot of young
because
wrestlers out there watching want to know, how do you do it so long?
I don't know, your pride, your passion takes over, and you think about all the places you've been, and like I broke into the New York independent scene where I first met Jason Knight when I was like 17 years old, 16 years old. And Joel Gertner was my manager then. So I go to a place like ACW, I see Joel Gertner, and it's just like, wow, all these years later when he started out as Joey Jaguar. And, it's the camaraderie. You meet up with old people. Tommy Cairo, that guy was like,
It's
he had been
fantastic.
all over it. Yeah.
He's an
And
encyclopedia, and I'm working with him again on October 12th, and I look forward to it. I'm going to have him on the program again soon as well. Yeah,
it's so
you
unbelievable
just
after
met.
all these years to finally see him,
But Leatherface, how do you get, again, you come up, you follow the tradition with that name of two guys who had it before, and I want to show the folks some footage of your first event that we had with the ACW on. Carl, run the footage, and we're going to talk about it. We have some of Leatherface to show you from May at the 5% in Jersey. There he is with the chainsaw. And I commented on that.
Two chainsaws.
Oh, how gruesome is this? What's the idea of the chainsaw?
Well, I mean, it just goes in with the course. Over in Japan, if it hasn't been Chainsaw Tony, it's been Leatherface or FMW Leather. It was always some variation of leather to get around copyright issues. And, I get to kind of sort of take it my own. You see there, like, everything from the suit jacket to the apron to, the tie untied and that kind
And
of
the
thing.
chainsaw. How do you get away with bringing a chainsaw into the ring or even using it?
Well, anything goes in some situations, and that's definitely one of them. But I was told by building code, they're like, don't crank up that chainsaw; it's going to smell in here, and there's kids in the crowd.
No, yeah. Well, I'm glad you didn't
So I
put the
took the blade
chainsaw.
off.
Yeah, well, I would think so. And athletic, well, there's no athletic commission that supervises this stuff no more. But the crowd that night at the Fifer Center for the ACW return was really into you. and you could tell. I mean, they were when you came out and you came out with the chainsaw, they gave you a lot of heat.
Yeah, the thing is, like, this is kind of, I always said my ultimate goal was to go to Japan, latch on, and then come back here and shove it up everyone's ass, like anybody that didn't really believe in me. So, I mean, getting to come back to Jersey, which, nowadays I reside in Florida.
Well,
So
there
when
you
I'm there,
go. There you go. What are you doing right now? You're looking at the footage as I am. You picked up the chainsaw. What did you do there? I vaguely remember, and I called
I
the
wanted
match.
that guy out of the ring after he was talking all that mess to all those people. I wanted him to get the hell out of there. Him and his manager. They were standing in the ring for a few minutes before they even hit my music, and they were doing nothing but insulting the fans and everything. So, I thought, hey, I'm a Jersey kid. I grew
Yeah,
up
when
in
you
Jersey.
mm,
Yeah,
when you
and they're
put the
talking all that
chainsaw
mess
down
to those
again.
people. Yeah.
Are we going to say this? Are we going to see the same thing again on October 12th? Are
It's
you
going to be,
Leatherface coming out there with the chainsaw again?
with much closer as it is to Halloween, I'm going to be more balls out. I guarantee you. I can guarantee you
Okay.
that. Definitely
How do you
more
like
balls out
working
on
with
this one.
Jason Knight again and the whole crew? Some of the former ECW superstars now at ACW. How do you like working with them?
Oh, absolutely incredible. To say that they gave me everything and then some would be an understatement. From the treatment, the accommodations, everything. So it's just my thing of getting as many people as I can to come out and attend. Fill in some of the deficit it cost this company to bring me in and pay me what I'd asked. And it's a very, very rarely do I do stuff stateside because you run
Mm.
into more nonsense. But I've known Jason over 3 decades of my life, and he's always been, straight and narrow
Oh,
with me.
fantastic. He knows the business, and he's still wrestling. I can't believe he's close to 60 years old. He's still wrestling as
He's
well.
another one.
And he's going to be part of Pandemonium on October 12th at the Fiber Center there in Williams. Williamstown, New Jersey. Way down. It's like a
Williamstown, New
half hour.
Jersey.
Like it's like on the outskirts of Atlantic City, a half hour from Philadelphia, where ECW got their. That's where it all was. That ECW. So, what besides the chainsaw do people have to know? Are you finishing? What moves do you have?
You remember the staple gun from last time too?
Yeah, I do. That scares me too.
Which is,
And I'm going to tell you right now, I broadcast these matches. I'm nowhere near the ring no more. I don't want none of that stuff near me, and I don't want to be near a table because I've had my share of them when I did this stuff years ago.
It's
no more,
man.
The
mask goes on. The mask goes on. You're in a mood. You're in a mode already. You're mad at the world.
Yeah, and now how do you separate that character of Leatherface?
You take all your.
Do you become Leatherface in the ring, or does it become Leatherface also out of the ring? Because I was reading something about that today. One of the superstars from WWE
the second
was
you look
talking
at that
about
mask
that.
and everything. I mean, your energy level just shoots through.
You're a different person. You're in character, in other words.
Yeah, you're in character, but it's really just you with the volume turned all the way up. You want to parlay your passion. You got to get it out of you. You've been pent up, and I work a regular job while I'm here stateside, so you give yourself. I'm 3-4 days a week at a regular job.
All right.
Only.
So why do you not to downplay what you do, but at 50 years of age and a regular job, and you had your heyday basically in wrestling before bigger crowds, and this crowd's going to be pretty good for a small place. 200 people is good for a small indie show. Plus, they're going to have a Halloween theme. Autograph signings is all going to start like at 10 a.m. and continue into the evening.
The entire day.
Yeah, why do you continue doing this at 50 years of age? I ask a lot of guys in boxing and in wrestling at your age, is it because you still want to hear the crowd? Do you love the competitiveness? You don't need the money.
Knock on wood, barring any major injuries, and even through injuries, you work through them. Japan, it's every single night. Here, stateside, it's once in every so often that I even accept a booking. So Japan's more balls out and that kind of style, and it's more live or die and that kind of thing. United States, it's more kind of laid back. It's a lot more entertainment. It could definitely prolong your career, but it gets you in some kind of shape. I think without wrestling or anything, I'd probably be 500 pounds by now. But once the camaraderie picks up and you see some of the names on the shows and
Exactly.
guys that you've known for so
I
long,
think you just
still out
you
there.
just you just hit it, because that camaraderie, and one of the reasons why I stay in the mix with this a little bit is because of the camaraderie. You see guys that you've worked with before, even meet new faces. You see the young talent coming up. There's a closeness. There's a bond. A lot of fans don't realize how close the pro wrestling industry is among the guys, the boys, as they say. And even the gals now.
To me, it's always
there is a camaraderie. When it's all over, we all go out, have a good time. It's not babyface heel. We're in this together. But some guys take it overboard and they don't associate with others because they really play that character. They want people to know what they call that kayfabe, right?
Well, yeah. And guys that are back there, I mean, I don't take the mask off. Why bother? I mean, it's my real hair, so it's a pain in the ass getting the thing on.
You don't take the mask off, but you got it off now.
I feel like it. Yeah.
Well, Rey Mysterio Rey Mysterio for years, up until recently, has now seen more and more in public without his Lucha Libre mask. But you don't have your mask on now. How come you came on the show? How come Leatherface, you came on my program tonight without the mask?
I'll go get him. It'll take a second to get him, but I'll bring him in. I'll bring him in here. Get him chainsaw and everything.
That's okay. I don't want you. We're running out of time anyway.
Out my kitchen,
All right.
Neighbors,
do you know?
Complex might complain a little bit, but
do you know who you matched up against on October 12th?
It's Peter B. Beautiful, and there's a guy coming up that this is going to be bizarre. The guy that's coming up, I know virtually nothing at all about, and they're booking it as a three-way match, which means bell rings, bedlam, every guy for himself.
What do you do with a guy you never wrestled?
Yeah, there's always a blind spot. There's always you could always be like, you're focusing on one guy that you're trying to wrestle, you're trying to beat with a move, and there's another guy just intervening, interjecting himself. That's part of that throws a real monkey wrench into things. I mean,
did you have another
one
name?
Guy trying to beat one guy, the other guy.
No, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. It's unpredictable. Believe me. Did you have another name prior to Leatherface, or has that been your name throughout?
Oh, Jesus. I've been everything from Tony Myers to Dr. Death to Super Hysteria, Luchador to the Wolverine.
I've only been known as Rich Man. I've only been known as Rich Mancuso, sometimes calling me the Dick. That's short for Rich anyway.
Actually, I was going to say my nickname. It was one of those best that there's ever been. I mean, for the hardcore, like straight wrestling fans out there that just couldn't get enough, they were up at 3 o'clock in the morning listening to the fan, and it was a big deal coming up. Because, you would talk about all the other shows around the area, and for the boys, it meant more work. Who's running this weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
And for the fans, it was, hey, great. Now we know where John Rezzi's convention is at the Royce Hotel or whatever. But it just didn't seem to end there. I mean, it was an introduction to.
And you'll be signing Now you're known, and you'll be signing autographs prior to the show. And I look forward to being there early. Yeah.
And I have brought back a whole ton of merchandise that's actually sitting in that bag over there. If they could see video of this, point out to the one bag is just for gear, but the other bag is like all stuff I brought back from Japan.
I'm going to make sure that I grab something of yours as a memento that night of October 12th. Leatherface, you are
stickers, you name it.
You've got that name. You've got that name. You got the persona. It's Leatherface. He's a part of Pandemonium. Jason Knight's October 12th. Pandemonium, 5% in New Jersey. Wrightstown, New Jersey. What's the town again? Wrightstown? Yeah. It's in Williamstown. I never get these little towns. Williamstown. It's a nice little town there in South Jersey. And I look forward to seeing you then and calling a match before, because we'll stay in touch before. How do fans reach you on social media if you have it?
Social media, I'm Tony Myers on Facebook. Instagram, FMW Leather. Chainsaw Tony. There's even, let's see, on X, Tony Myers 74. You see a lot of Leatherface stuff from Japan, and even even on TikTok. You see me on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm in the clubs. I'm with my mask. I'm raving. I'm doing all that.
Japan. That had to be something. I've never been there for wrestling. I've been there for boxing. But those wrestling fans are really avid and really loyal in Japan.
Yeah,
And I
Tokyo's
know
about
you
the most
experienced that.
hardcore
That's the
fans you
Tokyo
could
Dome and so
imagine.
forth.
Yeah.
All right, Leatherface, before I let you go, every guest of mine on Keep It in the Ring has to go through the Rich Mancuso fact of the week and take a shot at it. Realize it's not trivia or it's fact of the week. You ready?
Sure. Give it a shot.
Carl, put it up. It's not fact of the week till it's fact of the week. And here we go. I'm waiting for
Fact of the
Carl
week.
to put fact of the week up, Carl. Yo, Carl. Where are you,
Uh-oh.
Carl?
Oh, you're cracking a whip on one of your guys.
I don't know where Carl is. Carl, fact of the week. I can't do it till it's up. No, I
Bathroom
got to
break,
move on.
perhaps.
I think my producer, Carl Roberts, has fell asleep on me because fact of the
Yeah,
week's not fact of the week.
Yeah, I could give you my own fact of the week. Maybe nobody
Well,
else
I'm
knew.
going to give you this fact of the week and let you go. All right. And you might like
All right.
this. It's an ECW star who you might know. Again, it's not trivia fact. Was a skilled carpenter. And you know his name, Sandman. Remember
Sandman
him?
was a carpenter too?
Yeah. In
What
fact,
hasn't he done?
yep, he has his own company.
Yeah, at one
And,
point he had Uber Eats.
you know, he was
construction
known
worker.
more in ECW as the crucified, infamous ECW angle with him.
Yeah, holy cow.
Remember that? Remember
Yeah,
that?
that got him in a lot of hot water.
So yeah, Sandman is a scaffolds is what he does. You know, as a carpenter.
Man.
What did he do? All right.
Nobody knows the difficulty of that work until they've actually.
But he did something. He did something in a match that had a scaffold. He had something to do with the scaffold in a match. You might remember with Brian Lee.
Oh, Brian Lee, yeah.
And Tommy Dreamer.
Oh my God,
but
yeah.
He did something with
Brian
that
Lee
scaffold.
must have fell through a dozen tables.
Right, but what did Sandman do? Why was he so instrumental about the scaffold? Not the match, the scaffold. That was a big part of the match.
Because being a craftsman or being any kind of construction worker, I mean, I can imagine.
That's it.
He put the scaffold
would
have to walk across a beam.
Yeah, well, he constructed it and put that up. He's
the one that did all that? I would have never
did all
known.
that. Well, skilled carpenter. He should have. Sandman. I thought I'd give you that as a fact of the week. Carl, do you have fact of the week to close it up? If not, we're going to move on. Hey, this is Leatherface. Catch him October 12th. ACW Pandemonium at the Piper Center in Jersey. And is that the mask?
That is the mask.
There it is. It's Leatherface.
No wig, no nothing.
All right, you keep it on. I'll see you.
For a middle-aged man to grow
I'll talk to you before Leatherface. I'll see you October 12th, okay?
I can't wait to see you again, man.
Stay healthy, my friend. I will. We'll go out for some drinks afterwards and have a good time with everyone.
My God. I would have paid good money for that years ago.
Remember what I always
money for now.
Remember what I always said at the end of my shows at 3 a.m. on WFAN and why this show is named. What do we say when I say goodbye?
6666 WFAN.
No, I say, come on, Leatherface. Keep it in the ring, my friend.
35 years, you know.
Okay. Thanks for joining me.
Keep in touch.
So much for inviting me. I look forward to working with you again on October 12th. That is Leatherface. We'll talk to you again soon, my friend.
It all comes in full circle. I appreciate you so much.
It's brought back some memories, and this was some fun. That's Leatherface. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's go on. Stay in touch. Thanks for being a part of this program.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I truly do appreciate it.
It was fun. It was fun. All right, folks, let's continue with the pro wrestling talk rapidly. And you can log out now, Leatherface. Your time is up. Thank you. That was great. Let's talk AEW All Out this Saturday night. payperview.com, among some of the outlets you could watch it. It's at a reasonable price. It's a continuation of AEW All In. MJF and Daniel Garcia intensified everything last night on Dynamite, and they'll be at it on Saturday night in Chicago. And then we got Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland. How about Page burning down Swerve Strickland's childhood home that he repurchased? That's nasty. That's going to be a part of it. All-out steel cage match. Page and Strickland. And that's going to happen at All Out on Saturday from Chicago, AEW pay-per-view. And Jack Perry and the Young Bucks. And they all attacked Bryan Danielson last night on Dynamite. With Jack Perry looking to take Danielson's title. But All Out, continuation a little bit of All In Saturday night. All right, WWE talk. We talked briefly at Carl, are you there? Carl Roberts, are you there? Carl,
I'm here.
What happened to the fact of the week? You didn't put it up.
It's not there. It's not in the location.
All right. Oh, it's okay. We did it anyway. Anyway,
Yes.
let's talk. Let me first talk about Joe Testador and bring you in. Stay there. Show Joe Testador, great debut, WWE Monday Night Raw. And you know what? A natural for this, a fit for this. He said he wasn't at his best. Who could argue? He was at his best. Joe Testador was made for this. He's the combat sports renowned broadcaster, does college football. A great addition to WWE Monday Night Raw as he moved to Netflix in January. Joe Testador's got the voice, knows the moves, grew up as a wrestling fan, and of all the experimental teams that they've had on the broadcast, he by far is the winner. That's no disrespect to my pal Kevin Patrick. This was man-made. This was made for him. He's a natural. And he's making Monday Night Raw that much more exciting. Just a terrific debut for Joe Testador. I'd like to get everyone's thoughts about that as well. Carl, briefly, let's look at WWE Bash and Brooklyn. Let's start first with Drew McIntyre, CM Punk. I thought this feud was over. We see that Punk was stretching out Monday night. It's going to continue. It's going to be a part of the next PLE event, which is called what? What is it called? No Mercy? What is it called?
I believe SummerSlam, I think. No, SummerSlam's over. It has
but,
to be, they got so many.
It's not SummerSlam. It's X-Rex, whatever it is. It's one of the newer PLEs in October. And that's going to be a continuation. And they're going to end. It's going to be in a cage match. McIntyre and Punk finally. And I thought it was, when you saw Monday Night Raw, and you saw that Punk, the bracelet, was back to him after the match with McIntyre and Bash in Berlin, and then the beads from that bracelet with his wife's name and dog. McIntyre, really vicious as this heel, puts those beads in Punk's mouth. All right. Gunther and Orton. What'd you think, real quick? Put that up.
I loved it.
Put the graphic up. There you go.
So still your winner.
What'd you think?
I loved the match. It was actually the passing of the torch.
It was. As you see right here with the handshake. We have an image of that. Everyone saw that. Put that image up of the handshake. The passing of the torch. Gunther retains the world title. All right. And this continues. Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, Dom and Liv, Judgment Day, probably going to go into War Games. Ripley, the two, what are they called? The monsters? What are they called? The twin monsters? Towers? What are they called?
No, Terror Twins.
Terror Twins are really terror. That's going to continue. Dirty Dom getting worse and worse as a heel. Liv Morgan, they're going to be stopped. They're going to be stopped. But that was a good match. That was a good match at Bash in Berlin. What did you think? What did you give it on a scale 1 to 10?
I gave it a 9.
Yeah, I did too. And then Cody and Kevin Owens. We thought Owens would turn on Cody. It didn't happen. Maybe it will down the line. What's next for Cody? Retains the title. So is Sikoa again.
I could see him going after Sikoa going after him again. But we'll see.
That was a good match as well. But Owens did not turn on him. No major surprises. We thought there'd be some things happening, but it's going to get more interesting leading into the next PLE event and also War Games Survivor Series in November, including the Bloodline. We might finally get an answer to things coming up on SmackDown. It starts to debut now on the USA Network. Friday night starting next week, including the Bloodline. Who joins Roman Reigns? When does Paul Heyman come back? To be determined. But WWE hot and heavy as they continue to do great work internationally. This one in Berlin. Carl, thank you, my friend. Great job. I'll talk to you in a moment. Thank you. Let's take a final timeout. Brief break. Timeout. Come back. We'll have the nostalgia clip of the week. Pryor Aguayo. We hit that anniversary on those. Second of their two great fights. Back in a moment. Keep it in the ring. I'm Rich Mancuso. Nostalgia next. Stay with us.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
All right, we're going to wrap this up now quick and rapidly as Keep It in the Ring continues. I'm Rich Mancuso. Let's get to nostalgia clip of the week. I love doing this every week, as you know. I'm going to flash back September 9, 1983. Long ago, but not too long ago, a second fight. The Hall of Fame Aaron Pryor and Alexis Arguello. I covered the first fight in Miami that had controversy. Panama Lewis spiked the drink of Aaron Pryor. They got him to win. He knocked out Alexis Arguello in this one in round 10 of 15. Fights would then championship fights of 15 rounds. Retained that Aaron Pryor, the WBA light welterweight title. There you see it. A sellout of 12,000 outdoor arena at Caesars in Las Vegas, the outdoor venue, the home of many championship fights in Las Vegas, the only real big venue at the time for boxing. Pryor, his eight title events, stopped Arguello in the 14th round. Their first fight in November of 92 in Miami. That was, again, controversial with that spiked drink of Panama Lewis into the bottle of Aaron Pryor in the corner. So, Arguello failed the second time around to get the title. The first boxer to win titles in 4 weight divisions was Aaron Pryor. Knocked him down the first and fourth rounds of this second fight rematch and sent him to the canvas the final time in the 10th. We do have a clip of that. Let's show it to you. Roll it, Carl.
Crowd already starting to cheer. Arguello with a right hand that scores on Pryor, whose legs buckle for a moment.
Both fighters are a little tight.
A right hand by Arguello.
Well, he's really thickened also.
There's a right hand, snaps the head back, and Pryor is hurt. That was the best punch of the fight. Pryor a left jab and a combination again. And Arguello's in trouble. Arguello in big trouble against the ropes. Pryor going for the kill, trying to put him away. Arguello trying to cover up. A smashing right hand. Arguello's helpless against the ropes. Arguello's hands at his side. It's over. Aaron Pryor has retained his junior welterweight championship. Arguello slips to the canvas. One.
Footage. Thank you. September 9th, 1983. Aaron Pryor, a title defense, stopped Alexis Arguello in the 14th round. Of course, boxing at that time, championship fights, 15 rounds. And what action. 2 great Hall of Fame fighters, including the late Alexis Arguello, who I got to know. We were honored at an event together way back in the early 1980s. I won American Associated Proven of Boxing. Steve Acunto honored him as Fighter of the Year and me as Writer of the Year. I'll never forget that day, meeting him and talking about his career. Of course, very tragic. Alexis Arguello got involved in politics in Nicaragua, a war-torn country, and an assassin's bullet took his life much too young. But again, clip of the week, nostalgia. I hope you enjoyed that. More of that next week. All right, come to the time now. We say goodnight. For this week's edition of Keep It in the Ring, I'm Rich Mancuso. Reach me on X Twitter, Ring786, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, among my social media outlets. Reach me there and also read my content at NewYorkSportsDay.com, LatinoSports.com, and other websites that I write for. In addition, we'll be back next week with more. And, of course, Carl Roberts, thank you. And, of course, Star Churston. Like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. Would appreciate that, as well as String Punk Entertainment and the AGT Network and the Facebook page like that, where we're seen live, even on Twitter. We're all over the place. This is Keep It in the Ring. Until next week, everyone, we'll have another hour. And, again, I want to thank Leatherface. That was great. ACW coming up October 12th. Pandemonium, as you keep seeing on this program every week. Till next week, my friends, make sure you stay well, be good to each other, and as always, God bless. I'm Rich Mancuso. This is Keep It in the Ring. Thank you for watching.